Body pins are the most annoying part of RC cars. They're just not a good way to hold the shell on. They get knocked out, they stretch out the holes, they look bad, and they get lost so easily. I've owned the Sandyland for about 2 months now, and I'm already down to 1 pin. Now, rather than spending tons of money on pins that I'm just going to lose again, I decided to actually try to fix the problem. And in today's video, I'm going to be testing out a way to make any RC car shell mount without pins. Enjoy! The basic idea for this project is to recreate the Rustler 4x4's clipless body mounting on the Sandyland. The way that this works is fairly simple. You can see that on the inside of the shell there's this little bit that sticks out, and on the car there's another little bit right there. What happens is the bit on the shell goes under the bit on the car, and that holds the front in place. On the back you can see that there's this little buckle. What happens when you close that is it creates this little loop right here, and that hooks around this and holds the back in place. On the Sandyland you can see that there's the same little spots right here and here with a little loop, so we should be able to stick something under them, which means that we can probably do a clipless mount on the Sandyland the same way as the Rustler. So the first thing I've done is I've 3D printed this little thing right here. This is going to be the little clip on the inside of the shell. Basically what it does is it just goes in right there. It fits perfectly, holds pretty strong, and yet it's still pretty easy to take out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick that in there, put a bit of glue on the top, put the shell on the top, and then once the glue dries, then it should be in the right spot. Let's do that. Alright, so the first bit's finished. You can see this thing's glued on now, and so now it just clips right onto the front and holds it in place. It's a bit difficult to put on with these things still there, so I'm probably going to hacksaw those off because I'm not going to need them as long as I don't have the pins. But now we're ready for the back bit. Now, the back bit is going to be a lot harder because we have like the whole mechanical mechanism with the buckle and stuff. So before we even start on that, we're going to have to take off this GoPro mount. Okay, as it turns out, the back bit is actually not that complicated. I just did a bunch of work, used about 1.5 pounds of hot glue, cut a hole in the back, and took off a GoPro mount, and then I discovered that the shell is actually flexible enough that we can just put a second one of these things on the front, on the back, and it'll work just fine. So let's fix this. We'll just glue the piece back on and 3D print another one of these, and then we'll be good. Alright, so I've glued the shell back together and I've attached the thing on the inside right there, so now it mounts right. To mount it, it's pretty easy. You just have to slip the front on like that, sort of bend the back up a bit, slide it down, and then you're good. You can see shell's on pretty strong, looks good, no pins to lose or anything, and really good. So now that it's ready, let's go and take it out and give it a test. So there it is, an easy, cheap, and effective way to make any RC car shell mount without pins. I'm super happy with how this turned out. You could see that during the testing the car was doing a lot of rolls and flips, but the shell stayed on tight, so this is definitely a great upgrade. As always, if you guys want to try this out for yourself, there'll be download links to the 3D printable files in the description. With that, thank you all very much for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.